Welcome to the WFDF 2018 World Ultimate Club Championships. We are here in the men's division, getting into the business end now. We have a pre-quarter final, a repeat of the European Championships last year. Bad Skid from Germany taking on Clapham out of Great Britain. Both teams having different roads to this pre-quarter final. Bad Skid, undefeated in the group stages, having a big tough game against Nomadic Tribe, winning 15-13, who just made it to the quarterfinals, beating Bologna. Only lost one game so far, Bad Skid, losing to number 1 seed Revolver 15-9. And then Clapham taking a little more of a scenic route to this pre-quarter. I'm Liam Grant, joined by Ian Toner. Ian, you got a chance to see some of Clapham's performances this week so far.
Yeah, Clapham looked a little shaky to start in pool play, suffering that surprising loss to Bologna, a team they've been battling with quite a bit so far this year. Multiple matchups at Windmill going in either team's direction. But here at the championships, we also saw their round of 32 matchup against Ragnarok this morning, and the Danes jumped out to a quick 3-0 lead to get that game started. But after those 3 points, it was all Clapham. The boys from the United Kingdom went on a 7-0 run, an 8-1 run to close the first half, and really doused the fire of upset on Ragnarok's potential.
Yeah, not going to lie, I watched some of that game as well. Not great performances from either team, a bit choppy. And we thought Ragnarok was really going to put it up to them, especially since they had two Clapham Nomads playing on their side that would have been biting at the bit to get a win there. But they made it through that pre-quarter after losing their top seed to Bologna, who are now out. So Clapham could do a sneaky one here and end up finishing higher than Bologna, which they often do, losing them in the early stages but finishing higher. Just how this Clapham team rolls. I think they'll feel very confident going into this game. They've beaten Bad Skid numerous times. Bad Skid very heavily rely on Holger Beutenmüller, who is, I think, in the top 3 for goals and assists in this tournament. Raf Jonkers from Frisbee's just about overtaking him now, but he's a talisman for this Bad Skid side. They look to him as a release valve every time this offense is under pressure.
And you compare the composition of these two rosters. Obviously, Clapham, a lot of homegrown talent, but they've also taken on players who've been expats and become fixtures in the European and the UK scene in particular. You compare that against this Bad Skid squad, who really does not welcome any outsiders. It's just everyone from their hometown.
Yeah, I think that has a lot to do with geography as well. You know, London, quite a international, multicultural city. A lot of people move there for work, especially Irish people. We have Conor Hogan now living there and playing with them. But Bad Skid hail from Masenbach in Germany. And if you haven't heard of that, you're probably not alone. Not far from Stuttgart, and quite a small town for such a fantastic ultimate team to come out of. And these are just a group of friends. They're pretty much all the same age bracket, a few brothers here and there. And yeah, I guess they haven't really taken on many, because I don't think many people are moving to Masenbach anytime soon.
And at the same time, you've still seen some of those other countries and teams willing to pick up expats just for the World Club Championships, but really inspiring to see this Bad Skid squad just stay true to their roots and compete with the team that brought them there.
Yeah, we like to see that. Looking at the stats before this game, we see Clapham quite spread out across the roster. Lots of people getting goals and assists. No one really standing out except maybe Justin, a few furlongs before other people, leading in combined total. But everyone pretty balanced in the roster. While we see Bad Skid now coming out in offense. Nico Mueller on the disc leading in assists.
Mueller spending a fair amount of time here in the United States, competing with University of Massachusetts Zoo Disc on their run to the semifinals 2 years ago, and Boston Ironside.
I see Rowledge there making an athletic bid, and Marcel Hartmann not too happy with the initial contact there, and maybe just wants to chat and say, look, if we're going to make bids like that, let's try and keep him clean. Rowledge doing his best around the corner, but couldn't get there, and maybe trips him up on the way down. Hartmann gets the wee up the line. Backhand shot is there, and didn't get much of a pivot. It's going to be competed, and good body position there to muscle out the Clapham defender. A few inches away from holding their first 0 point. Boyton Mueller now at the disc. Looks like a travel possibly called or a foul by Hillman, saying he was pushed off the mark.
Yeah, some aggressive dump cutting there by Marvin Waldvogel, really initiating with his forearms and pushing to get that separation, not quite within the letter of the law.
Yeah, a little bit of argy-bargy so far in this first point, but Bad Skid maintain possession. Again to Nico Mueller, who's ready to work hard for a few discs. Getting high in the stall count now, but gets the reset.
Great switching there by the Clapham defenders, rolling off the most dangerous assignment, attacking that strike space.
Yeah, defending as a team now. We see Marco Mueller get the little leading pass for the uprushing handler. Another call in the field. Good defense here from Clapham, keeping them outside their end zone, protecting the house. And now the round flick was there, but a miscue. Marco Mueller, Clapham with a chance to break.
Well, these are the opportunities that Clapham valued in the first half against Ragnarok, as we see their D-line offense initiating with a easy horizontal stack slash cut.
Rowledge now at the disc. A former Fire of London player now. Can they get this first break? Looks like it's going to be, and a great goal for Alex Cragg. Former Fire of London captain gets the break for Clapham.
Well, Bad Skid hasn't had to play any opponent today, but you gotta wonder, with the tight lines and tight roster that their offensive unit runs, how much that mileage is starting to catch up with them, or how much they're really awake for the start of this game, because not a whole lot of defensive pressure from the Bad Skid O-line after that turnover.
Yeah, in contrast to that, Clapham have 28 players here, all being involved in some shape or form. You see Cragg there, free in the end zone. So used to seeing him in a Fire of London shirt doing the same, making that deep cut. Beautifully weighted into the end zone. Not a Bad Skid player in sight. And yeah, I think that's going to be a big test for Bad Skid, is just, do they have the legs? They're very heavy on that O-line, having to run quite a lot. Clapham doing well just to contain them and trying to force an error, and they did just that.
So giving everyone a sense of what's at stake here, Clapham and Bad Skid, the winner of this matchup will face the winner of Double Wide and Comunidad El Oso from Colombia. We most likely expect that to be Double Wide.
Yeah, not counting out the Colombians just yet. Also, that side of the draw, you have Ring of Fire, Colony, so a very tough task for anyone if they get through this game, but this is what happens when you get to quarters, semis of Worlds. Big fake on the hook, Waldvogel. Now Boyton Mueller on the under. Being marked by Ollie Gordon, going to be a good matchup there. Just working the unders for now. Hartman. Mueller grinding so hard on the upline. He is so fast in those tight spaces. And they get another upline, being forced back end here, and that one a little too easy for a Bad Skid. No need to swing and you just jam it in. Oh, and a travel called. I was thinking it was a little too easy there, Ian.
Well, I think the slash cut attacking that upline space was still valid, but the thrower's motion getting into that position before the throw, little foul play.
Yeah, it's a weird one. When you're throwing to an open receiver on the open side, you're wondering how much does a travel like that affect it. It's not a hook. It's not like he's trying to use momentum to get more power on the disc. It seemed like a straightforward throw, but Sam Bowen on the force, thinking it did affect play, so we'll go back. Roller. Oh, and a miscue. Too many people in the lane, and they can't get it on the second time of asking.
Well, credit to Philip Garner peeling off his assignment and crowding that front corner of the end zone.
They're sending out to Bowen against Boytemüller. This could be a big battle. Bowen goes up first, but a little too early, thinking he has to get 3-4 feet in the air and not needing to. Valvogel.
And we saw after this turnover.
Oh, and a big shot goes up to who else but Boytemüller. Oh, and a fantastic layout grab, getting horizontal. Just what the doctor ordered for bad skid.
Well, after that previous turnover, Boytemüller was being marked by Sam Bowen. And you saw that quick communication between Sam Bowen and Ollie Gordon switching back, with Gordon taking the Boytemüller matchup. What do you think about that strategically? Because I think Bowen does have a little more size than Gordon in that matchup.
He had two men of similar stature and fantastic deep defenders, but you're coming up against probably the best deep receiver in Europe at the moment in Holger Boytemüller, who has to make an outstanding grab there. Difficult trailing edge catch, having to adjust his body in the air, and keeps his concentration to tie this one back up. Now we'll see the Clapham O-line. And it appears that Ashley Yeo is injured. I did see him hobble off in the Ring of Fire game earlier this week, hoping he might recover, but did look quite bad. So it does look like he's out for the rest of the week, which would be a big loss for this Clapham team. If there was ever a double game point line, you'd imagine he'd be on it, but they'll have to do without him. And as I said, 28 registered players here, so lots of men willing to step up. Stobbs here, they have a split stack with Magnus Wilson isolated. Goes to Justin Ford. There's going to be a discussion with Christoph Koble, another man who's had experience playing in the US. I believe he played with Ironside a few years back. So again, a lot of these players, bad skid true and true, but getting their experience elsewhere for a semester or two or a year abroad to try and bring back some new information. Oh, and that one dangerous to Cartwright. To Haynes. Big flick fake. He's getting a lot of pressure on the sideline, but Justin Ford there when you need him. Try and get the swing off the Thorn. Now to Stobbs. Safe, comfortable throws from Clapham. And again, another call in the field. Looks like a pick as James Mead came around the corner, who's done well to fit into this Clapham O-line. Traditionally played with Chevron for many years, but has crossed over to the dark side now as he wants to get a little more silverware. And he's looking very well in this team. I'm surprised he didn't join them earlier. His style kind of suits Clapham better. Chevron are a bit more wild and exciting. James likes to play way more structured. Ultimately fits in very well with this Clapham team.
We saw Chevron's bid for a championship coming to an end. Just a round to go, they ran into the Canadian juggernaut GOAT, who finished them off to the tune of 15-6.
Yeah, I think GOAT could be a sneaky outsider to win this tournament. A lot of people weren't talking about them beforehand, but then you see them play and you've heard of every single player in that roster, stars in their own right, so they'll be thinking they can take a few more scalps as this tournament goes on. Ford now getting behind the stall count. Thorne with a little outside in flick, looking for it back again, but and Stobbs, sneaky Stobbs. The man that doesn't look that athletic, but always seems to get free. His timing is fantastic.
Great instincts there. The stall count rising, the backhand reset options diminishing. And when you're a defender at the front of the stack, you can't go to sleep at that. And you see the defender just caught disc watching. And that's the danger of doing that, especially in the red zone. The best positioning has the butt to the sideline and your head kind of darting back and forth from the disc to your man, maybe a slight little hand on the hip just to feel him if he starts to take off.
Yeah, caught having a little siesta there in the hot summer heat. Temperature is rising again in this midday game. Grass starting to dry out a little bit as well. But a fantastic facility here in the Lebanon Sports Complex. A truly impressive sight to behold. And a perfect 0 point from Clapham. As you see the bad skid O-line coming down a vertical stack. Great initiation from Volvogel to get things moving. Mueller in acres of space. Lots of sagging in the lane as now with Boyton Mueller, who's going to try and assist, and he gets it in. Great goal, Marco Mueller in the end zone. And it's not often you see Holger Boyton Mueller throwing hucks. He does have 19 assists so far, that being his 20th. Usually just getting the little tap in after catching the huck, but he shows he's good on both sides of the disc.
Well, just a breakdown and holding the force there from the Clapham defense. That first around shot that actually got to Boyton Mueller was a break. And then Ollie Gordon unable to seal and protect that line. And for those downfield defenders, you know, I feel for James Freeman. He's as close as he could be, but the rest of the team not holding up their end of the bargain.
Yeah, Freeman missing in action at the Windmill tournament early this year where they did get gold, but he wasn't there, so I didn't get to see him playing recently, but definitely a weapon on this Clapham D-line. Well, we've seen Clapham go on a few runs this tournament. I think it's just how much depth they have in the D-line. Essentially the same 8 or 9 on O-line, and then having 2 or 3 D-lines to choose from allows them to stay fresh. Dobbs unable to get the first pass off of that one, spins around his legs. Abrams now on the O-line. And a zone look from Bad Skid. Now it looks like they're transitioning, just shutting down that initial offensive play. Dobbs and Mead keep things rolling. Ford now involved, shoots down the sideline. Tim Sanders getting involved as well. Mead grinding it out. Haynes free on the break side. They hit him now. Standing very far off on the marks here, Bad Skid. Mead, athletic bid to keep things going. He is on fire in this point. As he gets the inside break, which sets up Ford to shoot to Abrams. Fantastic point.
And that was a great point, Liam, talking about the Bad Skid marks. You'd expect them to be able to shut down some of those inside looks that are especially sharp, but early on, this Clapham offense looks unfazed. They lead Bad Skid 3-2.
Catch it early. Help us teach kids about cancer symptoms through Ultimate Frisbee clinics. Join us and speak up.
Welcome back to the World Ultimate Club Championships here in the men's division. Clapham take an early lead against Bad Skid, getting a break in their first point. Going on serve since then. Bad Skid now in offense. Keeping that same line the whole time. They trust these 7 men to go the whole way. Holger Boyton Mueller.
We see a matchup change. Sam Bowen's taking the Boyton Mueller matchup this point.
Yeah, it seems like they want to mix it up a bit. A difficult task for anyone, but Sam happy to try and rise to the challenge. Trapped in the sideline, eventually get it off to Nico Mueller. Looks like a pick downfield and will go back. Hartman on the far sideline. Just discussing what stall count is going to come in on. Hartman does get the high arcing flick to get it off the sideline. Mueller being forced backhand, which I'd expect him to unleash a hook at some stage. He does love those backhand hooks. Marco Mueller. Two Muellers on this O-line, but unrelated. Boyton Mueller battles upfield. Looks like they're happy to give him small gains. Oh, and Rowledge tries to come round, but Mueller rises fantastically, keeping that one alive. Comes around now, shoots to the break side, and a great goal. Rowledge frustrated as he tried to climb over Nico, but couldn't get there.
Well, Mueller running him ragged in the red zone there, elevating to grab that disc and taking off immediately afterward, opening up that break side lane, and just not much the downfield defenders can do after that mark has been broken. Would have loved to see a switch or a roll from those Clapham defenders just to shut down that break side window for an extra second.
Yeah, I think it was up to Rowledge there to maybe call for help. Had made a great attack here as we see him, one of the best verts in the UK, but can't get there as Mueller had probably a better position. I think gets caught out here as he spins around to the break side. You think Rowledge needs to call for help there. Someone needs to protect that break side when he can't get the mark on, but great play as well from Bad Skid. I found the rhythm. This O-line now after getting broken in the first point. Nico Mueller showing his towel game is on point. Seen a lot of players keeping the wet towels in coolers, controlling their neck in between points. Thorne. Stobbs. Again we see Bad Skid come out in the zone. Last time they quickly transitioned. Looks like they've stayed in the zone for now. Quite passive, allowing Clapham to swing, and now they've transitioned. And maybe Justin buying some time there on the mark. He knew if he went for the big pivot, he might bite on it, and Joe does just that, so likely to get a reset on the stall count. Oh, it is contested, so contested foul to Max to come in as stall 6 now. Looks like Abrams is free right in front of Ford. He's likely to take that pass just to reset the stall count. Abrams, quick give go. Ford in the power position, fakes the big flick hook. Now hits Mark Parslow on the under. Wilson. Magnus Wilson, one of two Wilson brothers on this Clapham team. Another call, and looks like someone's down, hurt. Anton Scheidt. Looks like he might have pulled a hamstring there or something, Ian.
Didn't see that when he went down, but could be any number of things in these conditions. A pull, a cramp. Sometimes you just get cleated. And walking around on the fields earlier today, we haven't had rain in a few days. It's no secret that it's been quite hot. This ground is a little harder than a lot of players might expect. It's been subjected to some pretty harsh conditions and aggressive cutting for the better part of the last several days.
Stobbs to Ford. So many touches already in this game for both of those players. And Ford getting high in the stall count before he looks dumped, but Stobbs able to get there when needed. White. The 6'7" Kiwi stature there. A difficult man to defend. Thorne. A nice outside in flick to the break side.
Well, he loves those high release backhands. Terrorized American collegiate defenders with those when he took the field for Pittsburgh and Sabah Noor. winning college national championships for the first time in program history.
Yeah, definitely one of the best handlers in European Ultimate right now. And kind of a pure handler in many ways. I've seen him go deep, but likes to just control a game, as does this man Stobbs. Abrams is going to have to go up early for this, and a great defensive play. And that is Mark Christian. He goes deep straight away. He's going to have to compete himself. And in between two defenders, what a bookends. Great play, getting that break back. Oh, and there's a call in the field. I'm not sure where it came from.
As we get another look at the heroic effort from Mark Pritch. I'm not sure if Tom Abrams is the one calling the foul, and we do see a little push down on the shoulder there.
You see this initial D from Mark Pritch.
No doubt that one was clean. Great effort. Once he took off to the end zone, the question is, how did he elevate between?
You can see he might have been resting his arm on Abrams as he went up. Very difficult not to have contact when you have a man either side of you, when you're the slice of ham in that sandwich.
And sometimes that's just instinct taking over, right? You know, you've got another body that close to you. Naturally, you're going to put a forearm up to keep your own personal space.
And that's just how people jump, you know. You have arms, they got to go somewhere. And that is Martin Conacher who will get this back. Not afraid to throw it, and oh, a wayward push pass there. Gives it straight back to Clapham. You can't give these lads two chances. Pass low to Stobbs. Gets a cut to the front corner, but not there, so immediately tries to swing it around. Forward with a great continuation to the break side. Classic end zone offense there. Tom White finishing that one off for his 9th score of the tournament.
It's great to see how open this Clapham O-line rotation is. A lot of the top club teams like to restrict offensive responsibilities to, you know, 8, 9, maybe 10 players, with the occasional superstar from the defense crossing over in dire times. But Clapham have no problem cycling in multiple cutters downfield to give that handling core a new army of fresh legs to hit.
Surprised to see Tom White on the O-line, actually. Didn't get that role last year. Saw him play for the New Zealand national team in Royan at the World Beach Championships, and I described him as a giraffe on rollerblades. Quite a tall man, but sometimes not the most coordinated. But it seems like he's developed as a player since then and taking on a big role.
I'm sure there's no other way for him to take that besides viewing it as a compliment, of course.
And we got to see an impressive roller skater in Mason, Ohio, earlier on the week. A local celebrity. Nico Mueller. And now a zone from Clapham as he just shoots a blade straight to Holger Beutmuller. Wasting no time. He wants to swing when you just throw a blade straight over the top. And Clapham transition to match defense. Holger Beutmuller tearing towards the end zone. Gordon in pursuit, but they don't hit him this time. Parkman. Oh, and throws straight to Ollie Gordon. I don't know what he was thinking there. Another chance to break. Alex Brooks on the far sideline. Bowen, the man living in Dubai. With a well-known British player. Oh, and that one too easy. Where was the defense? And Bass Kid can't be giving up points like that if they want to win this game.
That's the second time we've just seen the end zone stack defenders going to sleep disc watching. And personally, you know, when I was playing in the World Ultimate Club Championships, I was more of a defensive handler myself, but whenever I was in the stack, I loved waiting for that moment when the defender would take that quick check-in back at the disc. That's the time when I knew I could strike. And if this is more than a check-in and it's a full-on disc watch for seconds on end, it just makes that cut that much easier.
You see Clapham use their fakes so well there, trying to create space on the mark. Conrad Wilson won't get an easier assist than that.
What do you think about this take, Liam? Conrad Wilson, doppelganger with rings Henry Fisher.
That's a hot take, Ian. That is a hot take. I think I need to see the two men standing beside each other. Conrad's quite tall. How tall is Henry?
Henry Fisher's 6'4" as well.
Okay, so you've looked up the stats, weight, size, very similar.
Quite similar.
Who's got better tan?
We're gonna have to go to a video review for that one.
Yeah, interesting to see who put on the highest factor sun cream. See the zone look again, trying to slow him down. Nico Mueller eyes up that buttery biscuit to the end zone. This one waited to perfection. I was waiting for him to do that. Clapham forcing backhand all this game so far, playing into the hands of his greatest strength.
Well, just excellent technique on the part of Mueller. Sizing up the downfield options. And what a joy it must be for him to have the Boynton Mueller siblings as targets.
Yeah, he's got 3 to choose from there. This time he's shooting to youngest brother Samuel Boynton Mueller, who has a rake of goals himself. That is his 10th of the tournament. Or should I say 8th of the tournament. Also has 3 assists to his name. I'm sure there's a little competition between the siblings on stats.
And that's when the Bad Skid offense is at its most comfortable, right? They're well spaced. They're providing clear deep lanes for any of the Boynton Mueller brothers to attack and Mueller to service. Clapham would do well to, continue coming down in some junks, frustrate those first few initiation deep looks, kind of get that Bad Skid offense out of rhythm.
Yeah, definitely the Boynton Mueller dynasty, a familiar one to most in European Ultimate. Any other dynasties out there in the world of Ultimate?
The Thorne brothers are relatively accomplished, having won championships at Pittsburgh, but again, that's the collegiate level. The Gibson brothers have both won club championships. Chris and Kurt. Kurt obviously racking up a lot more hardware.
Yeah, I saw an article for, I think it was a show game the other day about the Neil dynasty out of New Zealand. Most familiar with Mara Neil, who plays in the UK. But plenty of family dynasties out there. And as I said in an earlier game, there's been a new addition to the Boynton Mueller family. Holger having his second child, so they're working on the next generation. Maybe someday we'll have a full 7 Boynton Muellers on the line.
Well, another one just popped into my head here in the American scene. The Tennell siblings, Dylan Tennell winning club championships with Jane in 2009, earning a berth at WUCC 2010 in Prague, and Leila Tennell winning a club championship with Boston's Brute Squad.
Yeah, definitely a family affair, the sport of Ultimate. James Mead now taking it at the brick mark, being forced forehand, but hits the inside break at one of his favorite throws. Magnus Wilson gives it back to Ford. We've seen Ford quite a lot in the hand position. Oh, and that was a reckless bid You can see Justin is not happy. He has a little smile now, and you can see what he was trying to do, but that pass just so zippy to forward. He was very late coming in on that one. And it looks like he might have injured himself in the process. That is Tobias Hera.
Those blind shots to that upline space are so difficult. And again, sometimes easy opportunities to peel off, and I just don't see any way Tobias Hera makes a play without initiating contact. Clearly a dangerous play on his part. The responsibility and onus are on Hera to pull up before initiating that contact.
Looked like he tried to do that, but too little too late, and does crash into Ford. And as you said, it's his onus, and Ford completely blindsided there. He knew he'd beaten his player. He was casually catching that and had not prepared to take the impact, but has come off better as he remains on the field, and Hera being subbed off. As you see, Nico Mueller getting a run on the D-line. Back to Mead. Unusual to have Ford playing this handler role the whole time. He's very dangerous deep down the field, but allows to use their best player in the backfield, doing well to get free when needed, as he does for Wilson. Oh, and a nice leading pass. Gives it back to Wilson, who throws a wishy-washy lefty backhand into the end zone, and then again it's White gathering that one up. Clapham maintain their lead going into this one. Join us for more action in just a few moments.
If you want to be a high performer, eat like one. Start with a balanced diet and drink plenty of water. Good nutrition is one of the best ways to boost your mental and your physical health.
Welcome back to Clapham versus Bad Skid. We're still here in the first half. Bad Skid trailing by 2 as they work it out of their own end zone here in offense. Who else but Nico Mueller taking responsibility of throwing downfield. Holger on the disc now, puts up a spicy one. But actually easy gathered, and in acres of space is Volvogel. Who's marking him? Can't walk it in. And eventually gets the support from Holger Beutenmuller, and Clapham not happy with their defense there. Maybe a mix-up downfield in the matchups.
Well, it looked like they had the Bad Skid offense dead to rights. Andrew Jackson with some first-rate dump defense, making life very difficult for Nico Mueller in the backfield. But once the deep shot went up, just a lack of accountability in chasing down those switching assignments. And an easy finish for Holger Beutenmuller.
Yeah, Volvogel getting his 8th assist. Just a couple of yards short of the end zone. Patiently waits for teammates to arrive. Now we have Martin Kronecker. One of the leaders of this D-line. Has a towel tucked in his shorts. What's your thoughts on that, Ian?
You know, it's humid here. I think any advantage you need to make sure you've got 100% grip or a comfortable grip, I'll support it. I once played with gloves.
Abrams to Stobbs. Cartwright. Ford now in the cutting lanes. Abrams and acres of space. Now switches the angle of attack. Oh, and the big backhand goes up. Possibly a trust throw for Ford. This one going to work out incredibly well. That was a crazy IO backhand.
Yeah, really unsure as to where the mark was and why Matt Parslow had so much space to unleash that inside-out backhand.
He had plenty of time to wind that one up. I thought it was going to drift out of bounds, but actually perfectly in the stride of Ford. And as I said, traditionally you see him in the cutting lanes, and he's so dangerous there. Almost undisputedly the #1 player in Europe for the past few years.
And amazing to see how far deep Justin Ford already was at the point of release. That deep cut wasn't developing from shallow. And he wasn't on an opposing third of the field. It was just straight down the middle, using the curve of the flight of the disc to lay it into that back line.
I think a lot of people would have thrown that outside in coming over the other shoulder to Justin Ford, but Parslow, known for his creativity, went for the IO instead. Angled perfectly into the cut of Ford. Timeout being called here. I think Clapham would love to break here to take half.
You'll be interested to see how much offensive firepower and star power crosses over onto this D-line. Wouldn't be surprised to see Justin Ford pulling some double duty here.
Yeah, tactic employed by many ultimate teams. The point before half, or at least the opportunity to get to half. Stack the line, hoping you get that so they get a break. And then maybe, if not, you call the timeout before or after that point so you can give those players crossing over a rest. Looking at it now, though, looks like a pure D-line.
And that's faith in Clapham's depth. 28 strong, willing to trust its D-line contributors to take this one home.
Freeman with the pull.
Was that too soon to make a "it's coming home" reference for these boys? What do you think?
Yeah, possibly still a little sour from their World Cup loss, but they had an amazing performance. I'm actually very much into that English team. Dare I say it as an Irishman, but it was the first time that maybe they were an underdog at a World Cup where there wasn't so much weight on their shoulders. A lot of young players, actually the youngest squad at the World Cup. But we'll focus on the World Ultimate Club Championships here, as Vogel gets some small yards in this zone. Holger Boynton-Mueller getting involved. It seems like Clapham are just playing zone to shut down that set play, stop Holger going deep. And again, they quickly transition. Nico Mueller has no force on him for a couple of seconds, but now Hillman gets involved. Marco Mueller has to go backwards to Reinert. Hartman. Nico Mueller is just so fast up the line, and that was a dangerous throw. Somehow caught by Freeman. Don't even know he was aware of that. Kind of landed in his back pocket. And this is their chance to break from half. This is why they call a timeout. They knew how important this point was. Rowledge, Bowen, gratuitous faking. Opts for the reset. Gordon to Rowledge. To Cragg, back to Freeman. Gordon working some hard yards, and there's a travel called. Game Game advisors echoing the woofed up hand signals. Freeman gets the easy under to Gordon. And then another return pass to take half. Freeman with an unusual bookends, but a bookends nonetheless. He delighted himself there. Claps all around for this British side.
And as a handler defender in the red zone, you've got to know that the reset options want to attack upfield into that 4-side space at the front of the cone. The O-line defense for Bad Skid just not getting it done here. They trail Clapham 8-5 going into the half.
There is a place where we are us at our best.
A place where everyone is welcome,
regardless of age, shape, skin color, or anything else that tries to box people in.
A place where we defy the odds.
And even defy gravity.
a place that knows grit, knows grace, knows bright lights, and knows empty bleachers.
A place where we remember to laugh.
Where we learn to trust.
And eventually, even learn to fly.
A place where character, community, and competition
are all as balanced as a disc in flight.
That place isn't in a stadium or on a field.
That place is in the spirit of our players.
Because we don't just play ultimate, we live ultimate.
Welcome back to Lebanon, Ohio. Liam Grant alongside Ian Toner. We've just seen a clinical first half from Clapham. Now in the lead, 8-5. A lot of work to do for this German side. A flawless O-line from Clapham and getting a few breaks to boot. What's really impressed you with this side so far, Ian?
If anything, it's been their man-to-man defensive pressure combined with the strategic adjustments of throwing some of those junk looks out there to get the Bad Skid offense out of its comfort zone. After they've gotten the turnover, they've also been relatively efficient, going 3 for 8 on break opportunities. You compare that with Bad Skid's D-line offense, 0 for 5 in the first half.
Yeah, they just can't get it back. And possibly just quite tired. They've had to play a lot of points. But we see what they can do in the second half. A lot to answer for as the battle of the European Giants continues.
Mala fama, it means infamous, bad fame. Bad fame. Mala, bad, fama, fame. Bad fame.
Well, my name is Daniela, and I'm from Malafama of Mexico City.
My name is Dre, and I live in Texas, but I'm playing with Malafama.
We're giving handcrafts from Mexico. We're giving a skull, a handmade skull, and little animals that are alebrijes. There are little things that help you
cross over to death.
Yeah,
right? So that they don't linger in limbo.
Exactly.
Like the movie Coco?
Yeah, exactly
That's the
that.
one.
It's a Mexican thing. And
Candy.
candies.
Candy.
Yeah.
Spicy candy and sweet candy.
That's what I'm more comfortable with, though when I played, like I didn't get to play on a women's team, but when I trained with them, I learned so much more in such a short period of time.
Welcome back to Clapham versus Bad Skid. We are still in halftime here in the Lebanon Sports Complex in this pre-quarter in the men's division. Lots of other pre-quarters happening around the sports complex. Liam Grant with Ian Toner here. Ian, do you have any other results for us?
Yeah, the scoreboards are still updating, but a huge surprise. Revolver, the heavy favorite, currently trailing Switzerland's Free Speed at the half, 8-7. Canada's General Strike leading Chalk, the French national champions who gave Colony the scare in pool play, 8-5. Double wide convincingly on top of Comunidad Al Oso, 10-3, no surprise there. And that's the rest of those matchups around the pre-quarterfinal action. Earlier in the previous round, a number of other pre-quarterfinals concluding and helping us lock into some of those quarterfinal matchups tomorrow. Goat topping Chevron Action Flash, 15-6. Ring of Fire ending Euphoria's run by the same margin. And Colony beating their Kiwi rivals Wildcats 15-7.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a crowd starting to gather at Field 16 where Free Speed have the lead on Revolver. Surprised to hear that in one sense, but also Free Speed have a very good O-line. And that's what they're known for in Europe, just a very, very solid O-line. So I imagine they're just trading, and you have the likes of Luca Miglietto, Rob Schumacher, Aaron Royce on that team. So a lot of top players from all over Europe playing with the team out of Basel. So I'd say they're just trading, and we'll see if Revolver can close that one out in the second half, but they are down by 1 point.
Revolver not the only top American squad to face a surprising tough test. Molly Brown trailed Iris 10-7 in their pre-quarterfinal before pulling that one out.
And often in the past, we've seen one U.S. team slip up in the pre-quarters. Everyone expects them, you know, to win out the tournament or finish in the top 3. But we saw last year in Lecco, Ironside not make it to the top 8. Go back as far as Prague, we saw Double Wide not make it into the top 8. So it has happened before. I'm sure Revolver aren't counting their chickens before they're hatched, and Free Speed definitely a force to be reckoned with. Definitely the least likely, I think, of all the US teams to not make the top 8 or make the quarters, so would be the biggest upset of the tournament so far if that scoreline stays the same. We'll keep you updated when we can. But we're about to get stuck into this second half. Clapham coming out on 0. Have converted all their 0 points so far this game, so looking to extend the lead to 4. If they can get this one in, Torn catches the pull, sends it to Stobbs. And both teams employing this tactic of setting a zone, you kind of look straight out the bat to kind of stop any plays and then quickly transitioning.
Yeah, Bad Skid sagging some handlers into the lane to poach and clog up those first underneath cuts.
And it just kind of takes away deep games for offensive lines. You know, there's someone at the back the whole time, so you just got to play small ball first, and there's a lot of easy options, but you just can't hook it, essentially what they're stopping you do. I'll see the transition come now when they reach the halfway line. Meade had a great game so far, beautiful leading inside flick from Torn. Haynes fakes the same, but gives it back to Alex to orchestrate this end zone offense.
And what are the odds Alex Thorne is setting up his mark for a saucy high release flick off to that break side at this moment?
Safe to say he can break any mark willingly, so difficult to be in the force against him, and he does just that. A little inside flick into space, zips into the end zone, and you love to see Alex Thorne on the disc if you're a cutter, knowing you can just kind of jog to the break side and he's going to hit you.
He's got so many release points, and his release is so quick. No matter how adaptive your mark is, for how aggressive you are. That shimmy just opening up the window on that inside lane end zone shot.
Liebersberger left quite flat-footed, but a very difficult man to stop when he's on the break side like that. A big window to throw into. And that's someone they didn't have back in 2014 in Lecco. Alex Thorne, not part of that roster that lost on double game point to Revolver. Bad Skid having a not so successful Lecco campaign. Everyone was expecting big things from the young squad back then, but an unfortunate three-way tie pretty much knocked them out of the top half of the tournament.
Oh, Mueller wanted to unleash that deep shot to Boyton Mueller.
Yeah, that's pretty much wants to do the whole time, and it kind of lets this offense rest if they can just get a one-pass offense. But I think that's what Clapham are trying to do, grind him down. But now we see the deep shot. This one trailing over the head of Boyton Mueller, but gets it every time. He's just, oh, a delight to watch running to the end zone.
Not much Ollie Gordon can do there in pursuit. This throw coming up late in the deep cut, blading over to the break side, trailing away. And Boyton Mueller has to make a full extension clap catch bid. If I'm the Clapham D-line, I'm actually relatively happy with that point because you forced an imperfect throw and you forced their greatest deep threat to make a spectacular play to preserve the hold.
Here's a little hot take for you, Ian, seeing we're on the topic of hot takes. You have the likes of Ollie Gordon, Sambo, and taking that matchup against Holger Boyton Mueller and really not shutting him down. And is that possibly a waste of their best two defenders? Are they better off putting the likes of Gordon and Bowen on someone else or trying to force a turnout of someone else and put a weak defender on Boyton Mueller? Not that they have, let's say, weak defenders, but
yeah.
if no one can shut him down, what's the point of putting your best person on him?
Well, not a hot take, but maybe just tell Gordon or Bowen to start backing him. And don't even give him the option to go deep because, as we've talked about, as skilled as Holger Boyton Mueller is, we know that his strengths are far greater as a receiver than as a thrower. You turn him into a thrower, he becomes much less of a threat for this offense.
Yeah, I think maybe forcing under isn't part of Bowen and Gordon's vocabulary. Two lads who like to bait the hawk. And we see Ford call a timeout. Looks like very high in the stall count on the sideline. An unusual thing to do, but
hey, if you don't use them, you lose them. And last thing you want to do is give Bad Skid a short field.
Yeah, something I'd be scared to do. I don't know what the stall count was there, but probably over 6 or 7. The only other person I know to do this regularly is Greg Cohen. I'm sure is in that Revolver side, trading with free speed so far. The man loves timeouts, and I've seen him do it where he gets into trouble on the sideline. A lot of people just throw the disc and throw maybe out to the break side and just hope for the best. He'll call a timeout if it's stall 8, stall 9, and try and set up some kind of isolation or at least give him more time to think about what he's going to throw. And it comes off for him, so let's see if Ford can do the same. Let's see what way this Clapham offense sets up. Wouldn't be surprised if Bad Skid try a little trap on the sideline or poach off, knowing that he's very little time to make a decision. Let's see what Ford has mustered up for us in that timeout. And gets an easy reset to Mead, so good decision in the end for Ford. In his own end zone now to Mead. Behind the stalk count, he's just going to have to lash it. And 4 turns and goes, but not a great throw from James Mead. And I think if that had ended up in bounds, Ford was there, but just not the right edge on that disc.
Well, first break opportunity of this half for Bad Skid, and they haven't been able to punch one in quite yet this game.
And Nico Mueller on the line again. How does that man have anything left in the tank? He's been running relentlessly on the O-line and now on the D-line, trying to get Bad Skid back in this game. Kobler. Mueller. Looking for Kobler, I'd say. And again, he's gone up line. There's blistering space up the line always. Just a yard or 2 to go, quite clogged now. Fakes the hammer, goes the around. Good continuation. Waldvogel on this D-line as well. They're trying to jump it in, and a quick cut to the open side. And that is a break for Christoph Kobler. Closing the gap now, Bad Skid.
Really aggressive handler movement from Bad Skid after this turnover, and a lot for the Clapham offensive unit to deal with from a defensive perspective.
And you wonder how many points is that Nico Mueller going to be able to play in this game, because I think the big difference there for the D-line offense was they have Christoph Kobler on the line, but also they had Nico Mueller this time to kind of steady the handler movement and keep them going up line. So that worked this time, but you can't have him out every single point, or at least I don't think you can.
And to me, that means that this Bad Skid squad has a ceiling. And that ceiling is definitely short of semifinals, because those squads that make it that deep in the tournament have depth. They're able to rely on all 27 to carry them through the earlier rounds, keep those top legs fresh once they reach the tougher matchups.
The weirder thing is, look at this outline. This has some D guys on it.
You see the Clapham O-line again. Changing 1 or 2 personnel. Andrew Jackson from Australia now on the line. Parslow with the big fake. You're going to bite on it as well after that puck in the first half. And a discussion with, now we see Holger Boyt-Mueller on the D-line, so a few people crossing over.
And it looks like he's calling a travel on Parslow.
It looks like he's retracted it. I don't think it really affected the play that much, so it will stay with Alex Thorne. Has no first stall for the, oh, and he shoots straight away to Tom White. The big Kiwi man doesn't leave his feet. That one a little too much on it.
We haven't talked a whole lot about the wind so far this game. It feels like a bit of a crosswind, as it has felt for much of the week here on these showcase fields. Other fields oriented in a different manner so that players are dealing with more straight-on upwind, downwind conditions.
Now an opportunity to get 2 breaks in a row. Looked down and out for quite some time. Bad Skid would have come out firing. We see Holger Boyt-Mueller. That is a monstrous flick. And looks like it's going to be caught well by his younger brother Samuel, who's on the line. Fakes the pop pass in. Could have been there, but gets it on the second attempt. And who else but Christoph Kobler? 2 in a row. Momentum swinging towards Bad Skid.
I'm not sure what happened to this Clapham offense at halftime. The same execution, rhythm, and connection is just not quite there here in the second half. Some unforced errors, giving the Bad Skid D-line offense opportunities that they weren't getting in the first half.
A flash of inspiration there from Holger Boyt-Mueller. Did not know he had this one in his locker. That is going upwind, and that is a fantastic flick to his younger brother Samuel, who read the disc really well. Some good patience on the end zone line, and finds Kobler, who is delighted himself 2 in a row against Clapham. As a D-line player, you don't say that very often. And now back to within 1. We'll see now. It's Nico Muller's turn to go out in the D-line. So maybe this is something they're deciding to do from halftime. Rotate Nico and Holger on the D-line. Kobler out there again, looking for the hat trick. Oh, and Holger's out there as well. This is a very, very strong D-line from Bad Skid. And I don't know how they're doing this in this heat and this stage of the competition. Now, this is their only game of the day. And if they were to progress, they would still only have 1 game per day. So a little easier on the shortened Bad Skid roster. Holger sends one into the skies here in Cincinnati, Ohio.
And a missed call there from the Clapham O-line. The game advisor, Kate Monforti, signaling that Bad Skid was offside on the pull. And again, with the game advisor system, the offense needs to recognize and accept that call on their own. That's not an active play-stopping call from the game advisor.
Yeah, I think as well, if it was maybe a better pull, they would have thought about it if it was going in the back of the end zone, but like Stobbs has it now essentially at the break mark, maybe a few yards shy of it. So maybe an only reason just to tire out the D-line of the Bad Skid players. That would be the best advantage, I think, of calling that. Abrams now. Oh, a wayward pass. Who was he throwing to there? Looks like Parslow just stopped as he released it. And they could go 3 in a row here, Bad Skid. The Clapham offense in 6s and 7s.
Marvin Waldvogel read that turnaround underneath cut perfectly, anticipated it even better than Parslow was able to execute it.
Now we see Samuel Beutmuller to his brother Holger this time, and goes straight away. What pace to burn Robbie Haynes. That is 3 in a row. This game is all tied up. I thought Clapham might run away with it, but Bad Skid thought otherwise. Ian, we got a game on our hands.
This Clapham O-line unit just looking like a different squad from the group that graced the fields in the first half here. Yet another unforced execution error, some miscommunication between the thrower and downfield receiver. The stall wasn't at a point where the thrower had no choice but to pull the trigger there. Great anticipation by Waldvogel to earn that block, and just big man small ball there by the front cone to cash in the break.
This game now more electrifying than a hairdryer in a hot tub. Things have really heated up here as it's tied up. The 2 big juggernauts of European Ultimate going head to head. Let's see what this Clapham O-line can do. It looks like a lot of the D-line players coming out here. Will Rowledge, Ben Funk, Ollie Gordon, telling the O-line they've had enough. It's now our turn. Surprised didn't call a timeout there. It's kind of his tradition in Ultimate if you get scored on 3 times in a row.
Let alone 3 times. I've seen timeouts after 2 consecutive breaks. But a 4-0 run here from Bad Skid to tie this game back up. And if you believe in momentum, the Germans have all of it right now.
And we see a very similar line again. Essentially playing Ironman now.
And that's just a tough bid from Mueller. The definition of a backpack, but Cragg fighting through the contact.
Yeah, Cragg is a tough cookie and rides that one out. Oh, and beautiful handler movement. Can this D-line show the O-line how it's done? Freeman picking the stack. Sam Bowen having a little giggle saying it wasn't a pick. I think the main thing to take home is that it didn't really affect the play. They hit the swing. Hannah Monty there, the game advisor listening in, a former world champion of Quidditch, since retired. One stick is hung up to dry.
Do you know what position he played? Was he a seeker?
This is Hannah Monty, the female game advisor. I do not know what her position was. I'll have to ask her during the next break. I did give her a hard time when she was representing the Australian under-23s team in London. We got a Harry Potter action in there, but now Clapham doing well, and the shot is there to Rowledge, who gets the goal. They stop the bleeding for now.
Well, that's not how the coaches drew that one up. Some late stall count heroics off to the break side, relying on the athleticism and tight windows. Clapham stops the bleeding, regains the lead, 10-9.
Do you want to avoid overuse injuries? Cross-train. Get your exercise routine out of a routine and mix it up with a variety of activities. Your muscles, tendons, and joints will thank you later.
Yeah, the coaching activities were better than the playing activities at that point.
Welcome back to the Giants of Great Britain taking on the Giants of Germany, which I guess in many ways would make them the same size, as they're almost tied up here. Clapham with just one more point on the board, leading 10-9. We see Connor Hogan with the pull. I think his first point of the game, the Irishman.
Well, it was a pleasure to meet you guys.
Well,
Good
yeah.
luck.
Have fun score peeking.
Nico Muller
Yes, I'm going to win so much.
with the disc.
Come
And
on,
as
let's play,
when you're
with
forcing
more
him back, and
smart
he's always going to take that option. And who was marking that guy?
So come watch.
And again, another siesta, this time by the Clapham defense.
And just pure frustration from the Clapham sideline. Kind of inexcusable to leave a receiver that unguarded when the stakes are this high.
You are important.
Swan Thompson chasing him down there, but I actually don't think it was his man, as he sees, waves his arms in frustration, going like, what was going on there? Marco Muller is not going to question it. He's happy to get an easy goal. And that's not what this Clapham D-line wants to be doing. We can see that they're stacking the lines the whole time, Bad Skid. So you want to run them into the ground. You want to make them work for every single point. And not present them with a gift like that. Tied up at 10s.
But I still don't, or like Mike Moore at the end, where, you know, same kind of like, well, Mike played a decent every point. I don't know,
So looking around the men's division, other results finalizing in this round. Double wide finishing off Comunidad El Oso 15-4. General Strike leading Chalk 10-8. Revolver still in a nail biter with free speed, though they've gained the lead 12-11 deep in the second half there.
Yeah, only guaranteed one European team in their quarterfinals, and that'll be the winner of this game. Shaq and Free Speed definitely in with a shout in close games. Stobbs to Wilson. Getting high in the stall count now, and he's quite isolated. Mead comes back to help out. Had a very good game so far, particularly hitting those inside breaks. Oh, and what happened there? Cartwright misses Ford, who is wide open. And they are not firing on all cylinders right now. Nico Muller, how are you still out on the field? Lashing another hook. Oh, and Samuel Boynton-Muller gives up quite early. Probably too far and wants to rest his legs. Clapham waste no time, picking it up.
I really don't like that cut from 23.
Ford on the far sideline, matching up against Holger. Boyton-Mueller sends a backhand of his own. Samuel in pursuit. Haynes reads it to perfection, goes up with one hand, and a great goal. Batskid had their chance to take the lead.
Well, an unfortunate missed opportunity for Mueller. That huck off the mark, and after the turnover, Mueller was having some on-field discussions with his teammate, talking about if he was going to switch onto Robbie Haynes, helping Samuel Boyton-Mueller in the deep space, and they ultimately ended up not switching, and I can't help but wonder if that cost them after that turnover.
As you see some replays at that point, we see, I think for the first time this game, Ford and Boyton-Mueller going up against each other, and I was really excited to see a jump ball go up between the two of them, but instead, Ford gets another assist.
As long as we're here, we're going to do it. But it's probably only for like 2 more.
Robbie Haynes had enough separation to take that one down comfortably.
We're sleeping at our house.
You're done for the day?
Yeah.
Who did you just play in?
Ben Funk,
Assuming the cross.
Euphoria.
the long established Clapham player, originally from the US. Again, not coming down with his own, just going a hard, honest defense here, Clapham. They seem to have scrapped it.
Yeah, I had fun watching them.
Holger with the disc.
They're good.
Hartman,
They can be. I don't think
Marco Mueller
there were some there were some
to
highly
Nico.
Yeah. Well, let's hope they have
Looks
a
like
lot
a
of
pick
first
might have been
ones.
called by Alex Brooks.
Yeah, Brooks is saying Mueller can keep it, but he may want to catch up and get a little closer on the mark.
We're gonna make sure
Yeah, I think that's a fair decision. Definitely had some separation. Good structure here from the German offense. Keeping to this vertical stack. Oh, and a great little shuffle from Reiner to get free. Playing the offense they want. Nico with the inside flick to Holger. Can he get the continuation? Oh, and sells the fake to Ollie Gordon, who lays out, giving him the easy breakside pass.
And once again, great red zone patience from the Germans. We haven't seen them pull the trigger too quickly, preemptively in the red zone. The only issues they've had have been a little further out from the end zone from an offensive perspective, but great recognition by Boyton-Mueller, moving the mark with that convincing fake, waiting for that window to open up.
I said early in this game that Justin Ford is probably the undisputed best player in Europe right now, but Holger is giving him a run for his money in this game. And usually I've just known Holger as the player that goes deep and is a big man that gets what he wants, but he's shown great composure in this game. A couple of deep shots. You see him there playing great end zone offense, faking out Ollie Gordon. So he's got a few more aces up his sleeve. And I'd really like to see the two of them go up against each other in the air. Ford and Boyton-Mueller.
Oh, also.
As you see Ashley Yo there limping off on the sideline. Getting some information from Hannah Penley. We find out that a game advisor, Hannah Monty, was a chaser. That was her position in Quidditch.
Have you ever played Quidditch?
I once was the snitch. So we used to train on the same field in college, the ultimate team and the Quidditch team, which kind of annoyed me at times. But they asked me once to put on a little yellow costume and run around, and I was like, I can do that. That sounds like fun. And that was difficult to catch, but yes, I was the snitch. I don't know if that counts as playing, being an object in the game. We'll focus on the game of ultimate now as Tom Abrams.
Just stop the deep, and we're good. And Christine's like, I do more things than cut deep. I'm like, prove it. That's very just nonchalant and super about the offender. Like,
Bit of discussion in the stack.
Just what you said. And then if you get the under,
Abrams,
you hold flick and try and throw a really low inside.
who's one of the World Games players for Great Britain way back when he was in Cali in Colombia. Unfortunately didn't make it to the last World Games events. Wilson on the far sideline, another call. Discussion now with Haynes and Waldvogel. Hopefully things won't get too chippy. It's been fairly spirited so far this game, but as it's tied up in 11, everything on the line. This is an elimination game. Who will make the top 8? The other will have to live on in the 9 to 16 bracket. Ford. As Wilson up the line, but instead shoots it to Meade, and a glitch in the matrix. Justin Ford hits the grass, and they're gone straight away. Kobla wants his 3rd goal of the game. Thorn in pursuit, and Kobla, oh! Like a thief in the night. Where did Thorn come out of there? Might have been a strip. Initially I thought Kobla had it.
And Thorn's adamant that he came down with it. Let's see if we can get another look at that. Thorn coming from the backside.
Another short guy. I like the short guy battles.
Non-stop plays here in this pre-quarter. Kobla does look like it was a strip, and great spirit from Thorn. Doesn't have to use her VAR assistant. Instead, trust the basket player. And I think he had it first. And even if it was the same time, it should go to the offense. And we're joined now by Evan Lepler, who has some information about another pre-quarter that happened moments ago. Evan, what's the news?
Yeah, guys, very exciting on the adjacent field. San Francisco Revolver, the #1 overall seed, the 2-time defending champion. They were down at the half against Free Speed, 8-7. They got a break early in the second half, looked to be in control, then they got broken again. But of course, they did eventually rally, and they prevailed 15-12. There were some nervy moments for Revolver. It didn't feel possible that the #1 seed could lose in a game like that. Tons of credit to Free Speed. They played valiantly, earned a ton of respect. I won't sleep on them again. With that said, Revolver moving on.
Thank you for that update, Evan. This pre-quarter very much still happening as Badskid take the lead for the first time.
Well, it seems customary for Revolver to have one solid scare on its path to the finals, thinking back to LECO 2014, as we've mentioned earlier, this Clapham team pushing them to the brink, double game point in the LECO quarterfinals.
Make or break moment now for Clapham as they trail for the first time this game. Rowledge getting a lot of contact there from Samuel Boyton-Mueller, and he's not too happy with that.
Yeah, and I think he's got cause to be quite upset about it.
I think sometimes, though, you just got to ride that hit because it's probably an advantage to the defense to let them set up after that.
By the same token, player safety is an issue, and if he can't trust his defender to play responsibly, and he's got to be thinking about his legs being taken out every time he's making an in-cut, that's a distracting thought in the back of your mind.
Let's hope it's just clean bids from now on. And I'm so surprised that Clapham have sent out their D-line here for an offensive point as they're trailing in this game that could end their tournament hopes. But no slouches, this D-line. They came out before on an 0 point and scored it without turning, so maybe I shouldn't doubt them, but unusual to do it in this stage of the tournament.
They might have beat them once before. They've battled a number of times, kind of like Bologna.
Another discussion with Sam Bowles. See some flossing on the sideline. Some happy kids having fun here in Lebanon Sports Complex, and why wouldn't they be? Fantastic Ultimate on show. Great cultural experience. Just a good time all around. Bowen now. Reinforced backhand. Getting high in the stall count. Freeman. Gets it to Bowen again. And the hook goes up. Oh, that one is going to be caught out of bounds. And I don't think he realized there, Alex Brooks, when he's competing with Nico Mueller.
He's definitely not in. Alex is on the field.
And they're debating now whether it's going to come in the front corner or further field, but Nico will take it from his own end zone. Kobler. Holger Boynmuller is on the line. Oh, and they're looking for him, and not even Holger can take that one in.
Yeah, one of the few errors we've seen from Nico Mueller. A little casual on that outside in flick to the inside out lane. A little more focus on that throw. Probably could have found his favorite big target.
Yeah, seems like they're just playing their all-star line from now on, so you can understand if some tiredness creeps into the game for them. They'll have another go of this. Freeman. Hillman boosts up line, he gets the inside break. Freeman again now. Brooks to Bowen. Getting high in the stall count, and looks like he's gonna call on the force a foul uncontested by Mark Bridge. This is a big moment in the game. Bowen will have a fresh stall count as he looks for Brooks, who's being shut down by Nico Mueller, but Hillman bails him out. Can hit Connor Hogan on the continuation. Getting high in the stall count, so he resets to Rowledge. Good matchup between him and Samuel Bowen. This one a loose pass. Another chance for Bad Skid to break.
And you see Boyton Mueller instructing his teammates to call timeout, but they're going to persevere.
Yeah, I would definitely advise them to do the same, but they're going to play on. Holger to Kobler, who shoots the end zone. Nico, sensational this game, and he gets a goal. Amazing performance from this man. Now a 2-point lead. Ian, can you believe it? They were down and out early in this game.
Well, hard to believe that it's just Nico Mueller's first goal of the game, considering how valuable he's been to this Bad Skid offense, but a tale of two halves so far. Bad Skid trailing 8-5 at the half, marching back in the second half. A 2-goal lead as we go into the break.
Heat illness strikes kids and adults alike during summer workouts. Watch for muscle cramps, fever, nausea, headache, weakness, or feeling faint. Act fast to get cool and get fluids.
Welcome back to this nail biter of a pre-quarter. Liam Grant alongside Ian Toner as Clapham find themselves 2 points down after leading for so long in this game, and it dropped by Justin Ford. What has happened? Bad Skid waste no time. Martin Kronecker to Scheidt. Going backwards now.
A lot of stagnance downfield from the Bad Skid stack. The handlers just content to lose yardage on resets.
Kronecker very far away from a stack here. They actually went back about 15, 20 yards just keeping possession. So they'll take a moment or two to set up themselves in a little better position.
And none of the big studs out here on the pitch for Bad Skid here. Mueller on the sidelines. Boyton Mueller taking a point off his brother as well. It's going to be on Kronecker to anchor this point and guide the D-line offense for Bad Skid.
Yeah, you got to imagine with their big workhorses on the sideline, you'd like to see Kronecker take control, and he has got a lot of creative passes, so even if they can't get open, Kronecker is well capable of throwing someone open. Just keeping possession out of the two handlers. That stack very far away. And he's going to throw it deep. It's going to be a jump ball. A lot of Clapham players in pursuit. They have the height, and Justin Ford makes up for his earlier error and cleans up that one. Mead now. A supposed travel being called, which seems unusual, really. Going to have a quick discussion about this. I think he's trying to catch him off guard there as he picked up the disc in the end zone, not walking it to the front, but maybe suggesting that he didn't pick it up in the right place or maybe moved slightly. Not sure if it affected the play. Anton Scheidt discussing it with him. Looks like it's retracted, and I think that's probably the best thing to do for Scheidt because they're now on the far sideline, probably a more difficult position to have the disc.
Yeah, we talked about the wind earlier on. It hasn't been as big of a factor as it was in early rounds, but that crosswind is pinning throwers on that downwind sideline.
Mead now hitting inside break to Tom White, who launches one deep. Haynes had separation. This one could be on the money, and a great goal for Clapham. Bring it back to within one, and they're pumped up right now. Haynes getting excited.
Well, a shaky point once again for this Clapham offense. An unforced drop, giving Bad Skid a shot at yet another break. And a lot of uncertainty and navigation through tight spaces in the shadow of their own end zone before that deep shot went off to Robbie Haynes. Not the most confidence-inspiring hold for the Clapham O unit.
Especially with all the superstars from Bad Skid on the sideline. I had a feeling it was going to be Kronecker throwing a hopeful hook. And I see Tom White throwing a hook himself. Not something I'm used to seeing. But obviously has had that one locked away the whole time. And pressure mounting on the showcase field. The stands are filling up. Oh, an offside called. Sending the Clapham D-line back to their own end zone to chase it down again. Sun's come back out now and the temperature's increased. As has the intensity of the play. We see Robbie Haynes there back on the field after scoring that last point. I like that if you're a player. If you just scored a goal, you know, you're feeling confident, the blood is pumping, and send him back out there. Get a D now, Robbie. You just got a goal. We need you to step it up. You're clearly pumped for this game.
He's really setting himself up to be on the wrong end of that old ultimate adage, conservation of greatness, right? You know, you do one thing really well, give yourself a moment to breathe and recover before you get actively involved again.
This an even better pull, so not much gain for Bad Skid. Only time to set themselves. Deep shot is there. Boyd Mueller decides not to do it and hits his brother coming under, Samuel. Kobler now on the O-line. Looks like they're doing the opposite now that they're in the lead, stacking the O-line. Perhaps just going to try and hold their offensive points. Oh, and a great leading pass to the break side. Reinhardt to Kobler. Looks off Holger in the end zone. Looks like there's a call in the field. We see Nico Mueller running across there. I'm in shock at how much this man has run this game. If he's not tired as his cleats must be, they'll be worn out. He'll be buying a new pair tomorrow because they've done a lot of work.
And if Bad Skid hadn't put itself in such a strong position, winning its pool, doing well in power pools, to give the team just one game today, I don't know that Mueller would be able to shoulder the great load that he has in this matchup.
Yeah, big advantage only having to play one game today. Clapham had a battle with Ragnarok earlier. Nico Mueller goes up line and sends it to Reinhardt, who has lots of time, and it's a great goal. Nobody can stop that man going up line. Nico Mueller, my MVP of the game so far.
And I understand that Mueller is aggressive. He's fast. His change of direction is probably unparalleled. But as a defender, you just got to put your body in that upline space. Make him run through you. Concede the back reset. If your mark's going to fail you, your mark's going to fail you. That's a tougher way to score. He's obviously had so much success just attacking that forced side strike space. Really need to see some adjustments and focus and clamping down from the Clapham dump defenders.
Yeah, an honest defense is not going to work on the likes of Mueller. As you said, perhaps just standing in the upline channel, maybe telling a teammate on the force to let no round throw off and trying to just take away the upline by doing a strategy like that might shut him down. But I'm sure they have tried lots of things, but he's just very, very fast, particularly in those small spaces, and easier said than done. And again, we don't see really any of the big studs on this D-line for Bad Skid. They want to save themselves for a game point.
And reminder that it is game point for Bad Skid.
Yeah, not their O points. So if Clapham do what I think they'll do here and score another goal, they'll have an opportunity to win the game. And Thorne wastes no time, sending it to their best receiver, Justin Ford, who runs that one in, 14-13. Bad Skid now to possession to win the game.
Well, I think you've got to put your most agile defender on Nico Mueller. You've got to stick with Bowen or Gordon on Borton Mueller and force Borton Mueller under. Make him become the thrower. Push Nico Mueller out of the handler set. Don't let him attack that strike space. That's the best recipe that I can draw up for these defensive game point situations for Clapham.
The big players taking control of the game for Clapham there. Probably their best handler, Alex Thorne, throwing to their best receiver, Justin Ford. Stepping up when they're needed most. I think a timeout called there by Clapham just to rest some of their star players. And I'd say we're going to see their strongest line on this point and the next, if there is one. Bad Skid just got to not turn over. It all comes down to this. A chance to take a coveted position in the top 8. Possibly the only European team to make it there. Who will it be? Bad Skid from Germany. Clapham from London. That pull just out of bounds, so Mueller will take it from the brick mark. Looks like just an honest person defense from Clapham. Perhaps Kobler in the lane.
Ollie Gordon drawing the Borton Mueller matchup. Davies matching up with Mueller.
You can hear a pin drop in the stadium and goes up to Kobler. It looks like it's going to be called back for a pick. Not sure what happened there, but you can see they don't want to waste time here. Bad skid. My heart beating like a breeze block falling down a set of stairways. It is tense here in the Lebanon Sports Complex in Ohio. Can Bad Skid beat Clapham? Knock out the European giants. Hartman. Mueller's gone deep. Gets the break off to Samuel Boyton-Mueller. Oh, and Haynes putting pressure on Nico Mueller, but they keep possession. And a swing, another big layout, but can't get there. Throwing the kitchen sink at Clapham are right now, and another big layout. Nico Mueller has a lot of space. Haynes has to fall back to recover. They switch on the mark now. Bowen given the task of giving. Oh, and it is! There it is! There is the turnover! James Freeman, cometh the man, cometh the hour. Can he tie this one up? He's going to pick up as well and shoots to Sam Bowen straight away. Samuel Boyton-Mueller trying to get there. And this one is going to double game point, folks. Trying to keep my cool here in the commentary booth. Would you believe it? 14-14. The crowd goes wild. Ian Toner can no longer stay in his seat.
James Freeman, the man of the hour for this Clapham defensive unit. Full extension, horizontal, earning that block for the Clapham defensive unit. As Bad Skid's offense had become so comfortable with those soft, easy resets, a simple offhand, backhand, but Freeman close enough to pull the trigger. And he wastes absolutely no time shooting deep, essentially earning the thrower's bookends.
Yeah, fearless from James Freeman. You know, a lot of people back down at these positions when there's a lot of pressure on, but he relishes the moment, takes it to double game point.
Yell over there. Go to the game advisor. There's still time.
This game livelier than a cheerleader on a trampoline. The stands are full up now. This possibly one of the most exciting games of the tournament. Likely to be talked about for years on end. Who's going to step up? Who's going to be the hero? Great pull from Clapham. It's Nico Mueller to Waldvogel. Tom Abrams poaching in the lane. Now to Samuel Boyton-Mueller. Oh, and throws one over the top of Abrams to Nico Mueller. What are they going to do next? Holger Boyton-Mueller still haven't gotten involved, and still throwing it out to Nico. Holger is gone. Doesn't hit him, hits the under. Kobler has Boyton-Mueller, this is it. Ollie Gordon in pursuit. Oh, and looks like it's going to be caught by Hartman, following up the play, and it's a goal. Bad Skid take it. Would you believe it? Heartbreak for Clapham.
And just when we thought we were going to have the clash of the titans between Gordon and Boyton-Mueller, the contact and bodying out, disc sails over their head. Phenomenal awareness and effort by Bueller to clean up the trash and toss the game-winning assist.
Oh, I think I'm going to have a heart attack here, Ian. That game took everything out of me. Unlikely hero, Reiner with the goal, and also I think that was Florian Bueller backing up the play. That's what I thought they were going to do, throw a hopeful hook to Holger, but he's not the hero of the story. It is Reiner with the goal. Clapham should have their heads held high. What a game for players and spectators alike. Bad Skid advance to the quarterfinals, where they'll play double wide.
And I think a really athletic matchup. Both of those offenses like to isolate their athletes deep. Neither of them too fond of the small ball approach. Can't wait to see a Boynton Mueller-Kurt Gibson matchup tomorrow.
Yeah, that one's going to be exciting. As we look over some of the highlights of the game, non-stop action. Looked like Clapham were in the driver's seat for some time. This game had everything.
Boynton Mueller putting the team on his back with his offensive receiving performance. Clapham in control for the first half of this game. An 8-5 lead at halftime, but Bad Skid making the most of its break opportunities in the second half, going on a 4-0 run to knot things up at 9. Another surge gave them a lead midway through the second half, and ultimately pulling off the surprise upset and knocking off the UK heavyweights.
More great Ultimate to come later today. Thank you very much for watching. I've been Liam Grant alongside Ian Toner. Congratulations to Bad Skid taking the win.
Oh, there it was. That was definitely a foul.
Yeah, agreed.
Catch it early. Help us teach kids about cancer symptoms through Ultimate Frisbee clinics. Join us and speak up.